Here now is the former national security advisor to President Trump in his first term, Ambassador John Bolton. Welcome back, Ambassador. It's good to see you. I have a few topics we want to go through. Of course, in this era of news, there's always a lot happening at once. But just to follow up, from a national security perspective on the conversation we were just having about tariffs and how they fit in as a tool or an instrument, what would you say about how the president is using the threat of the tariff so far in this second administration? Has it been effective?
No, I think it's causing confusion and uncertainty in the market, which will come back to haunt us. Let's just take the subject you just discussed.
Yep.
I don't think it could be clearer from what your guest said, but that China is the problem. China is dumping steel and aluminum. So if that's the problem, and they're not playing by free trade rules, which is clearly the case, then the United States, I think, is entirely justified in retaliating. And what's the best way to retaliate? To get everybody else who's being harmed by China's cheating on free trade principles to get together. And instead, what does Trump do? Slaps Canada in the face. I mean, just consider this. In any dispute, do you normally go out and kick your friends first? Or do you go after your adversaries? I think Trump has a lot bigger agenda here that's really potentially very damaging to the economy.
Meaning
We would be
meaning
stronger.
he wants to structurally change the way we kind of collect revenue? I was raising that as an earlier thing when you say bigger agenda, or that he's trying to do more than just you know, these small moves in the short term.
Yeah, we don't know exactly because he's never really put his plan down on paper.
Really,
it's
right.
It's typical Trump. He's just making numbers up to bargain and scare people. But at some point, he's got to put it on paper because he's been arguing to Congress that in order to make up for some of the lost revenue because of the extension of the 2017 tax cuts, which I think extending the 2017 tax cuts is a very good idea. But he's saying he's going to make up a lot, not all, but a lot of the lost revenue through tariffs. That implies pretty high tariffs at some point, which is a tax on the American consumer. It's going to raise their prices. I think it's economic self-harm to the United States. National security doesn't require a blunderbuss. It requires understanding who your adversary is and going after them and not going after your friends and trading partners. You know, North America has moved toward an integrated market, first because of NAFTA and then because of USMCA, negotiated by whom? Donald Trump. Right. And now he wants to put tariffs back in that he himself proclaimed as one of the greatest deals in history just 2 years ago.
So let's talk about the how, and the adversary obviously is China. So let's talk about China and the how for a minute. So I'll put this up from the New York Times about how, and this was something we talked about a few minutes ago. China is at the heart of the Trump tariffs on steel and aluminum. It's overcapacity. The quote goes here from an expert, is swamping world markets and severely injuring U.S. producers and workers. Okay, so let's say, Ambassador Bolton, that all of that is true. I think you would say it is, right? So then you say, well, what do you do about it? And you're saying it's something other than this. So what should be the first step? How do you properly deal with China today?
Well, for one thing, you don't deal with it piece by piece by piece. You know, let's talk about Christmas toys. Most American toys are made in China. That's terrible for Santa Claus. It's not a national security issue, though. I think what you've got to look at China and say, these people have gamed the system for 30-plus years. They've been stealing intellectual property. They've been then reverse engineering and selling the precise same goods into our markets at lower cost because they don't have to pay for research and development. I think instead of just tit-for-tat tariffs, which are tactical moves, they're not strategic, I think you need a broader policy to deal with the whole range of unacceptable behavior by China. So here's my proposition.
Sure.
I think there ought to be a complete ban on the import of all products from China that in any way rely on stolen American intellectual property. How about that?
So, well, you'd have to prove it, right? I guess that would be the thing. Or would you?
I think the government can make its own decisions on that. This is not due process. This is economic warfare we're talking about. And the Chinese have been waging economic warfare against us while we've been sucking our thumb for 30 years.
Let me talk to you about the Middle East also. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.